Hi, this is Supermoon Tarot, back at it again with another pick a card. Today we will be answering the question, will this become a long-term relationship? This refers to somebody you might have a crush on. Maybe you've just started dating. Maybe you've started dating and you've been dating for a little while, but you're not sure about its longevity. I will be answering whether it will or not become a long-term relationship and if I see any soulmate twin flame connections. Keep in mind, many people have happy, satisfying relationships for like a long time, like 3, 5, 7 years, and they weren't soulmates. So just because I might not see that specifically in your group or deck doesn't mean it's not going to be a wonderful thing to continue over the long term. Anyways, pick whatever deck resonates with you most. We've got group number 1, 2, 3, and 4. The timestamps are in the description below, and let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's answer the question, will this become a long-term relationship? Your oracle card is Dry Desert Upright. Oh, I didn't get this card a lot. Isn't that a pretty card? That's a pretty card. Okay, your first tarot card is 5 of Wands upright, 8 of Wands upright, Page of Pentacles upright, Death card upright. Oh my gosh, this is like one of my favorite death cards out of all my tarot decks. Isn't that a really pretty interpretation? Feels more poetic than sad. 10 of Wands upright. By the way, Death card is like awesome in romantic readings for single people, so get excited for that one. Queen of Cups upright, always a good thing. Ace of Wands upright. 9 of Cups upright, the Hierophant upright, and your last card is Hermit. Oh my gosh, we got that repeated over here. Okay. Give me a second to look at these cards. Looks like you were single for a while. Okay, so this is, now keep in mind, this is a general reading, so this refers to both people who are currently in this state right now. This is something to look forward to, and this is for people who are just kind of starting a relationship. The cards kind of define how the relationship went and where you were at. And either way, there's some important things we want to keep in mind, as usual, because I think you really need to hear it and you're going to benefit a lot from it. So, Dry Desert. Dry Desert, it's very much as it sounds. It talks about the idea of you going and experiencing different opportunities, but not really yielding anything from them. So, a lot of dead-end first dates, relationships that maybe lasted a few weeks or just a couple months, and you're like, I kind of knew this wasn't anything, and somehow I gave into my loneliness and, you know, hung out with this person way longer than I really should have, kind of thing. Either way, even if you have been dating, there's very much a vibe of always having felt single, especially in the hermit situation going on. But the thing is, with the Dry Desert, to keep in mind, the positive thing is, it talks about resilience. It's giving you a positive idea that like you should keep pushing forward because it's just kind of like a thing you're going through right now, but it doesn't mean there's not an oasis to achieve. And another important thing to pay a note of is it talks about the idea of conserving your energy until you get to the oasis. So currently, if you're in this situation right now, make sure that if you're dating someone and you're kind of trying it out and you're just not feeling it, or you're going on a first date, don't throw everything their way with such fury and get burnt out by you trying to meet the one. It doesn't mean being distrustful or not trying to give it a go. I mean, you don't know if it's going to work out unless you try it. But trust me, you'll feel, if you don't feel like you naturally want to be passionate with them, then just relax. Go with the flow, see where it goes. You don't have to force something that doesn't need to happen. It will allow the real deal to feel more special. But it also means, in addition to this, with the Hermit card, it talks about going inside yourself. So what's really awesome about the universe and, you know, how things go is sometimes when we get into a relationship, and I'm telling you right now, this is especially here and here, this is a spicy, fast kind of relationship that pops up. We become so consumed in a relationship, a new one, that we are unable to really focus on anything else, which is not a crime. But the universe is like, listen, I'm going to give you some time, because this card is very much similar to the actual Hermit card in Tarot. Let me give you some time to learn some skills, to figure out your personality, figure out who you are, what you want, take some time to just gain some knowledge by yourself, because guess what? You're going to be busy. You're going to be pretty distracted for a while. The cool thing is, though, this sense of learning and your desire for growing and being a better person does continue, and actually gets inspired and benefited from this relationship, but we'll get there in a second. So let's start off here, and then we'll go up here. The Death card in reverse, or upright, sorry, is awesome for single people, and it's awesome for people in a certain type of in a relationship that may be having little bumps right now, which has drawn you to this particular group because you're asking, hey, I'm having bumps in my relationship. Is this going to be a long-term relationship? So the Death card is facing the dry desert and letting her know, yo, girl, your time of being alone, being single, it's going to end. No worries, you're going to get out of this. It's ending now. And for people who, now, this card is not being interpreted in this way, but if you are, I just don't get that vibe that this card is being interpreted. A lot of people see the Five of Wands as a very, like, a lot of fighting, vigorous, like, not a confrontational type of card, but it isn't always the case. If there is confrontation, it's going to be ending right now for you. No worries, just don't, it's ending, don't worry. But we're going to actually get to what that card really means in a moment. So it ended. But keep in mind, this Ten of Wands is letting me know, girl / boy, whoever's listening to this, you were single for a while. This ending of your cycle and coming into this positive new relationship is or was or whatever took a while, honey. She took a while. And it looks like you possibly had to, like, let go of some stuff before you came into this, but I can see you already have let it go, which is a good thing. And this then leads into the Queen of Cups. This talks about your new relationship and the one you're currently in, the one you're about to be in. And the cool thing is you basically drop everything in this way of knowledge and stuff you're doing independently, and you just put everything into this relationship. Some people would say that's a negative thing, but sometimes it's a really positive thing. You're really giving it that go. You feel that passion's there. You feel it's worth it. And honestly, you're kind of reaping what you sow. It's a really, it's a good thing. Follow that heart, follow that openness, follow that fluidity. It was meant to happen for you and this other person. Go for it. It's an awesome, it's a very, like, believe in love, you know, wonderful type of sweet card. So that then leads to the general, like, encounter that you've either already experienced or you're about to experience. This is a person who you had a lot of, like, passionate discussions with. This is a person who's challenging you to be a better version of yourself. And that is what then leads to all this great passion in the Eight of Wands and the Ace of Wands. The Eight of Wands talks about how this relationship went quick. Oh my god, it was fast, or it is going to be fast. This is a person you meet, and then the next day you're texting and texting and texting, and before you know it, you're spending every single day with each other. It is a whirlwind of becoming both best friends, and also keep in mind the Eight of Wands and the Ace of Wands in this case talk about how it was very quick in the bedroom as well. Again, not every human is the same. And through tarot, I've seen and I've experienced through friends and stuff like that, there are no cardinal rules. For some people, it's better to wait after a couple dates or even a couple weeks or months. And for some people, it's an immediate thing, and that works out in their benefit. In this case, it does work out in your benefit. But there's a little bit of a warning thing going on I want to let you know about getting there soon. So, you just were so mentally stimulated by them. You felt like they had your back and vice versa. And there was just this great connection. You fed off of each other. And then this then leads to the Page of Pentacles. This talks about self-improvement. Because when you have someone challenging to make you a better version of yourself, and in between, like any sort of pillow talk or hanging out and stuff like that, there's just a general frank discussion to be like of caring about one another. Again, this talks about open, really pouring yourself into emotion and wanting the best for each other. This partner is like, yeah, you want to improve yourself? Let me help you. I can see you had this previous interest. How can we grow from that? So on and so forth. Also, this is like just a wonderful general, like appreciating the moment and what you have with this person. I just see a lot of like general bliss and happiness, but it's a whirlwind. It's very fast. You're totally in the moment. Great chemistry essentially going on. Now, this is where we get a bit of our, again, I don't want to say warning, but you should know about this. So, no, I do not see any sort of soulmate or twin flame sort of connection. However, I need to pull another card or two to see if this is going to be a long-term relationship. I'll do that in 1 second, but essentially, this is saying that yes, there's this fiery new beginning. Great. It's sometimes referred to as the thumbs up card. It's not in this particular case. It's the medium thumbs card. I guess that seems appropriate considering the kind of what the Hierophant and the Nine of Cups is saying. But it's saying, yes, this turned out like a really positive beginning, but because it was so fast, and that's not a bad thing, follow your heart, you were meant to do this, it leads to the Nine of Cups in reverse, which is the ultimate, like, you got what you wanted, you got this relationship, but with a but, like with a catch, essentially. And I don't see what the catch really is, but there is a way to kind of turn this card upright and get everything you want. No catch. This wonderful relationship. Like I said, you're caring, you're sharing, you're growing. How can I get it to be this? How can I remove this catch? The advice being given to you right here is in the Hierophant upright. This says, nothing wrong with this. Date, follow your heart, grow, do this. But once you've kind of initially bloomed and fired off, you can consider it a firework, take some time to slow down and traditionally date. And this can be anything you want, but consider this. When you started the relationship, or when you're about to start the relationship, was it a lot of like hanging out in your room, being really casual, immediately just getting takeout all the time and stuff like that, just feeling so comfortable to the point that you kind of skipped all that kind of mystery and slow burning that develops, that creates an even longer lasting relationship? It doesn't mean this is a mistake. This is great. And even it says you can keep still seeing each other this month. It doesn't mean restrict yourself after this. It just means maybe between all of this casualness, put a little bit of whatever you define as a formal version of, a couple. And this is whatever you define it as. There are no rules when it comes to tarot. Everything is, again, like I said, every human and relationship is different. It's subjective. But if you feel like the relationship gets defined through traditional dating, maybe they give you flowers or something like that, have that conversation. Again, this is a very open type of relationship. They're down with it. And just like be like, hey, maybe we should take some time to be together and kind of be a little formal in some ways. I think it could benefit if you really feel this connection the way I do. So let's answer the big question. But is this a long-term relationship? I'm going to pull one more card just to see if, oh my god, it is! Okay, so that's an ultimate yes. This card is the final tipping point I needed for yes, this is a long-term relationship. Get excited, it's really positive. But this also gives some advice too that, again, don't retreat only inwards. yes, go with the flow, go with the passion, throw your hat up in there and enjoy it. But consider benefiting from taking your relationship out into the world with friends, just seeing what else is out there, dating outside of just what you guys are most familiar with, your home base, and keep enjoying and experiencing things both inwards and outwards into the world. But yes, I do see, I mean, don't worry that there's no soulmate twin flame connection. This is a great relationship. I think you should totally look forward to this, or if you're in this right now, I mean, have a great time. Enjoy this. This is going to be a really positive thing. If you enjoyed this reading as much as I did enjoy giving it was a fun one, consider giving it a like and subscribe. It helps out the channel so much like you would not believe. Either way, guys, let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2. Let's answer the question, will this become a long-term relationship? Your oracle card is Follow the Leader. That's so funny. The group previous to this one, I got another oracle card I don't get very often, which is cool. So Follow the Leader. Your first tarot card is the Hangman in reverse. 10 of Cups in reverse. Page of Swords upright. 7 of Pentacles upright. 4 of Pentacles upright. Judgment in reverse. Knight of Pentacles upright. King of Wands in reverse. The Devil. And your last card is Servant. Oh. Okay. Give me a moment to look at this. This is definitely not a spread for single people. This is for people who have either just started the relationship or like you've been dating for a little while. But and Spirit's speaking up right now saying that a lot of you are in a position where you've been dating this person for actually a while and you're kind of wondering, like, is this worth continuing? Should I keep making this a long-term relationship, essentially? So, alright. Okay, so let's start out with a bit of an inspirational beginning, which is great. So the Follow the Leader and the Hangman in reverse are very much one and the same. They're great. So they're saying that you've taken your time to overcome problems in the relationship. You know, you were thinking about it, or maybe you've been hurt before by them, whatever it is, and you've had previous experiences. Whatever it is, it's time to move on. You've recovered enough. You've gained the wisdom. Follow the Leader is talking about wisdom. It talks about bravery, which you can see here and here. I mean, even in the Judgment card as well, just that idea of, like, you are smart enough, experienced enough, and strong enough to now move forward and make decisions, essentially. The Hangman also talks about the same concept of, like, you've recovered enough. Now it's time to decide, are you going to stick it out with this person, or are you going to move on? Now, in the Seven of Pentacles, I'm going to be jostling around a little bit because this is one of those spreads where the cards underneath these cards very much are like an answering or a deeper, going into the subject deeper, essentially. So, when you were recovering and doing your thing, you've either made this decision or are going to make this decision right after this, or you made this offer and then you went into recovery while you were waiting. So in the Seven of Pentacles, it talks about coming forward to your partner and saying, listen, this is what I want out of the relationship, this is what I expect for you, this is who I am, this is how I feel about you. It doesn't mean it's confrontational. It can be from a very loving place of, like, you know, I love you, I want the best for us, but please, I need stability, or I need this. Whatever it is, I'm getting a strong stability vibe going on here. Not in the cards, but from Spirit speaking up. Anyways, you've come forth with them, and you kind of had to back off and then let them make the decision from there. In fact, this card will often point to, yeah, let them have room. In fact, if you're in this situation right now, give them space. They need space to make that decision. Yes, like the Hangman in reverse talks about, not forever, but it would actually hinder the potential or possibility of the relationship being explored deeper or recovering in some way, shape, or form if you kind of force it too soon. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait it out. Or you've asked them and then you waited it out and now it's time to move forward. So one of the, some of the big problems in the relationship going on, and I can see vices are a problem in the Four of Pentacles and the Devil upright, but the main thing is the Ten of Pentacles. In the Ten of Pentacles, it talks about ignoring anything bad. This is somebody who doesn't want to talk about it right now. I don't want to talk about it. Maybe they just don't tell you, not out of being dishonest to you and trying to lie to you. They just don't want to deal with it. And honestly, this is the ultimate card of saying, guess what? That's not working and it's about to blow up in your face soon, unfortunately. This isn't working out. You can't hold this negativity to yourself all the time. And this is causing one of the biggest problems in the relationship, which is asking you, like, because clearly with all of your intention I can see going on and your passion to wanting to make this relationship work, despite all these problems, like, you clearly really, you love them. You want it to work. It's understandable. So in the Four of Pentacles, because they are ignoring and don't want to deal with their problems, this is also leading to a withholding what they're telling you, withholding their emotions. This is a caving in on themselves type of situation, because it's like one lie is leading to the other, or one not facing a problem is leading to the other. So it's starting to kind of fester out, and they're not able to be as open with you because they can't deal with it themselves, or they know that you'll catch them and they'll have to discuss it and deal with it. And so it's just becoming like they're more and more distant. They're ruining the relationship by not dealing with it, and it's leading to a lot of other problems, like I said, withholding their emotions and secrets and honesty and stuff like that. But on the other hand, in all these cards going forward, you want this to work. It's kind of really, 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 really beautiful. In the Page of Swords upright, this does talk about sticking up for yourself, which is awesome. So if you're worried, or maybe you're going through this right now, if you're worried, like, what am I going to do? Am I going to just take this forever? No. This is about not only sticking up for yourself, but this talks about sticking up for the relationship. So it's a combination of saying, like, listen, screw the problems you're going through. I want us to work it out. I want it to work. I'm fighting for us. And I know you're going through something, but come on, let's do this. But at the same time, you're saying, listen, I want this to work, but, like, hello, I matter in this relationship too. Like, this is what I want as well. And if you haven't done this already, Tarot's suggesting that you can do both and that you should do both. Now, the beautiful thing about this is it also gets reflected directly underneath the Judgment card in reverse. The Judgment card in reverse is talking about the idea that you, like, now sometimes it's about you as a couple being tested against someone else, like maybe, I don't know, like a family member is kind of getting up in your business and together you have to work as a team to push them away. But in this particular case, you're being tested as a relationship against each other. And in this card, it talks about how you are going the lengths to make it work despite being tested, despite seeing these obstacles. You understand that it's worth it. That I don't even know if obstacles would really be the word when I talk about the idea of being tested. You know what I mean? Pardon me? And then the Knight of Cups, I can see you're coming from an extremely loving place. This is somebody who's very heartfelt. And this also talks about proposal. Now, if the Judgment card had some other cards with it, this would talk about the idea of marriage, but this is not in your spread, unfortunately. And, or that could be a positive thing, maybe you don't believe in marriage. But it more talks about the idea that you're the person that goes to them first. And we've seen that repeated through the other cards as well. That you're the person that goes up to them. You're the one making the offer. There's just a lot of power coming from you to make this relationship work. And the nice thing is, I don't see them trying to manipulate you or do anything on purpose against you. They're just unfortunately dealing with their own problems right now. And it's becoming a bigger deal that's leaking over and bringing you down, unfortunately. That actually gets discussed explicitly in the Four of Pentacles. So you're coming at them, you're trying to be loving, saying like, I love you, please, let's work this out in the Knight of Cups. And then this is unfortunately leading into the King of Wands in reverse and the Devil. Both of them talk about jealousy and obsession. Like I said, one problem leading to the next. Now in the King of Wands in reverse, this talks about how, unfortunately, despite you coming at them with love, there's going to be a lot of disagreements. They're just not really interested in being on your team and working with you to make this relationship. Again, and this is where you probably feel conflicted in being like, do they just not love me? No, they totally love you. They're not doing out of malice and taking you for granted or anything. They just, unfortunately, like I said, are just so consumed with their own stuff. And then this then leads to the Devil. And the Devil upright in this particular case, again, talks about just not a healthy relationship. Especially vices being one of the biggest problems in your partner. And like I said with the Four of Pentacles, this talks about how ultimately those vices or problems they're dealing with are bringing down the relationship and going to bring down the relationship. And I think the saddest part, I'm so sorry to tell you this information, but I think the saddest and most definitive answer we've got going in this relationship is, while you have so much strength and wisdom and passion and good heart going into this relationship, so often in this Devil card, people talk about the idea of, are you the devil? Or are you the people that are chained up underneath the devil? If you actually even notice in this particular tarot card, the couple itself aren't even really acknowledged as strongly as the devil, which is important to take note of because I could have gotten the devil in any of these tarot spreads and the devil would have been interpreted differently as well. And this is representing your partner, and unfortunately this is representing you. You might be taking a dominant approach, but you are dependent on how they respond and how they want to recover and overcome their own problems. So, no, I do not see this being a long-term relationship. On the positive side, I think that this is something, again, this talks about follow the leader. This is kind of like a beginning and end concept, that this is a wonderful experience that makes you so strong and brave, and I think you're going to have a lot of positive influence into surrounding people around you. You're going to really inspire a lot of other people by your actions of what you decide to do. They're going to realize like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. And you're going to find a lot of fulfillment through that. But no, this is not a long-term relationship. I don't see any soulmate or twin flame sort of connection. I'm so sorry to deliver this message. But I think you should really admire your heart and your gusto. And I think you've got a lot of, moxie about you. If you enjoyed this reading, I hope you did, because I really enjoyed trying to give the best message possible to you. Please consider giving it a like and subscribing. It helps out the channel so much. But either way, let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3, let's answer the question, will this become a long-term relationship? Your first oracle card is Stormfield in reverse. Your first tarot card is Six of Pentacles upright. 8 of Swords in reverse. 2 of Swords in reverse. Page of Cups upright. 7 of Swords in reverse. 9 of Pentacles in reverse. Ace of Swords upright. 5 of Cups upright. 3 of Cups upright. And your last card is Child of Nature. You're gonna have to give me a moment for this one, because this one's a really weird spread. It could kind of go either way, to be honest with you. Let me figure out what order these cards go in. I can see there's drama happening over here, but it seems like a more positive end here. Okay, so this one's kind of, how do I express this? This is something left more up in the air and not so set in stone by the end. In a good way. As in, we'll get to that. Okay, so let me, I always want to say like 18 things at once that I have to remember. Going chronologically is like the best way to go about doing this. So, Stormfields and Six of Pentacles in reverse. There is just stuff not going on great in the relationship. I can tell you they're just not giving something you want. When I see Stormfields, I'm kind of getting the vibe that they are taking something from you. They're like taking away your energy. They're pulling it away from you. This is not to be malicious, but it's like, because I can see with the Five of Cups and even the Eight of Swords in reverse, and even here, I can basically see everywhere. They're going through something. They're kind of taking it away from you. You want to help them, but they're kind of causing chaos and drama in their pursuit to deal with the problems they're dealing with. And honestly, you're just not getting what you want out of the relationship, unfortunately. In the Stormfields, this is kind of like a beautiful way of saying, listen, what you're going through, this chaos, it's just drama. Do not engage in it, because you're going to say or do something that you're going to regret. And that's all it is. It's just temporary drama, temporary chaos. You're going to move forward. Everything's okay, but just pull back. Pull away from it. Don't engage in it. You're kind of almost being antagonized. Again, it doesn't feel malicious or mean. It just feels like they're not in the greatest place, and you're kind of caught up in it. But then I see in the Eight of Swords breaking free of that. Now, I was a little confused as I was going into the spread if this ultimately meant a breakup, which aka meant a non-long-term relationship, but it's not. It's actually about this situation ending. This gets repeated here in the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. This is all about if you were on a break as a relationship because of all this fighting, or maybe you guys were pulling back romantically with each other because of all this chaos going on. This talks about that ending. This talks about you breaking away from that situation. And then the Two of Swords, this is interestingly enough about the other person, the person you're with, making up their mind. You've expressed to them, yo, I don't want to deal with this. I'm not going to engage with you in this way. And they thought about what you had to say. They're taking that into mind. And this is when kind of everything changes. The Two of Swords upright is about not being able to make a decision, not knowing where to go. This person knows where to go, and they've made that decision. It's been decided. So it's kind of like set in stone. It just is what it is. But the positive thing is this then leads to the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Nine of Pentacles in reverse, like I said before, is all about that type of negativity being over. If you're single, you're no longer single. It's like an opportunity of love. But in this particular couple's instance, don't worry. All that bad stuff you're going through, it really was just drama. It was just chaos. Like a storm. Storms are temporary. This wasn't a serious thing that's going to define your relationship forever. It was rough, but you've gotten through it. But the way you guys get through it, or are getting through it now, which is leading to those, greener pastures ahead. And keep in mind, Stormfield's upright kind of says, hey, things get rough and tough, and, storms come and go, but storms also bring rain. And rain fertilizes the earth. And who doesn't love a green, beautiful earth and a better relationship in tomorrow? So what leads to this Stormfield upright is the Seven of Swords. So with all these swords going on, and the Ace of Swords I might mention, this is kind of a discussion of like what you should do and kind of how the problem gets handled. There is an unburdening of secrets, so to speak. Now, they weren't keeping anything from you, but it first starts off baby steps of being like, you know what? I love you. You're right. Let me share what's on my mind. Let's just be like straight up two people talking. Who cares that we're a relationship? Let's just be totally discussional about how to handle things, where we're at in our life, that type of situation. And Ace of Swords, next to the Five of Cups, talks about using that mental clarity without emotional... It's like a very objective thing. It's like there's no emotions involved. It's just like, let's not judge each other. Let's just be honest. Let's be clear. And it cuts through that sadness, which is wonderful. And this then leads to two great things. Page of Cups is... This is everything. First, you just be like, okay, listen, I'm going to put feelings aside, you know, we're just going to deal with it. I'm going to say how I feel. Let's hear what everyone has to say. And knowing that you have heard them out and you haven't given into the drama. In fact, when you don't give into the drama, this is what kind of ends your suffering. You remove your own swords because they realize they're not getting from you what they think they want, which is like a reaction. And they have to kind of face their problems and they're like, oh, okay, you know what? I'll be a grown-up and share you with what I'm going through. And this not only opens just a communicative part of you, like with swords, but this opens up emotions, relationships, romantic. It's just kind of a beautiful pool of everything you would like out of the relationship. And this then turns to a better tomorrow. This then turns to the Storm of Fields upright. Now, something to take note, though, in both Child Nature and the Three of Cups upright is Child Nature talks about getting back to your roots in the relationship. Because I see the Six of Pentacles over here, even the Nine of Pentacles, you guys need some fun. You need some fun. You need to go back to what you loved in the relationship. The strength of your relationship goes back to hanging out with other people. You're going to have a lot of positivity and growth in the relationship. This gets especially expressed in the Three of Cups, through being social with other people. Go out, hang out with other people as a couple. Go just like literally make your top priority above anything fun. You got caught up in kind of the day-to-day, and he or she made everything a bigger deal than it needed to be and let it get them over their heads, and then it affected everything else. Talk it out, come back together as a couple, and just go have fun. Now, the reason why I said that this is a very up in the air type thing is it ends positively. Yes, you're going to be together. But I don't have anything here that explicitly says it's going to be a long-term relationship or a short-term relationship. Because this doesn't seem like a fuse that you're going to return back to, like reoccurring problems. It's more of a not set in stone situation, which basically means, yeah, oh my god, totally. I can totally see this being a positive long-term relationship, and this was like an important growing point for both of you, and that kind of going back to your roots really strengthens the relationship and why you fell in love with each other and all this great stuff, and it's kind of like reigniting the romance even though you've been dating for a while type situation, and it can continue as a long-term relationship, but I'm not getting enough cards that say, yep, this is how the universe is going to be forever. So I would be mindful to consider, I say this for everybody, but especially for this spread, see your relationship as a garden. You tend it, not over-tend it, but you're going to look out for weeds. You're going to be mindful of weeds. You're not going to be hawking over it, being, you know, and lifting up roots before they've had, or plants before they've had the chance to put in roots into the ground. You don't have to be obsessive, but don't let this relationship fall into this rut again, or there is a possibility there could be a breakup. So, yes, I see a long term, but it's still on you for it to continue to stay in this positive direction. I would be mindful to go back to this concept in action whenever you feel like life is getting the best of one of you two. Just be like, listen, let's drop all this stuff. What's wrong? Let's talk about it. Remember who you are as a couple. And just be like, do you want to go hang out? Do you want to go out and hang out with our friends tonight? Do you want to go see a movie? Let's go do something silly and forget about all our problems. And for some people, there's an element of you're avoiding problems. And I actually did this for another spread, that sometimes you're avoiding problems and that's becoming a negative thing. This is more, sometimes you just need a break from yourself or the situation to gain better insight or realize like it's not as big of a deal as it seems. So this is just, you know, I think we all get tired sometimes working a lot or whatever the situation is, and it can accidentally get, you know, put on our other partner. So yes, I do see long-term options in this relationship, to put it simply. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this spread as much as I enjoyed giving it. Consider giving it a like and a subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. And let's get ready for group number 4. Group number 4. Let's answer the question, will this become a long-term relationship? Your oracle card is Metamorphosis. Your first tarot card is Strength in reverse, Judgment in reverse, the Emperor in reverse. Wow. This is a very strong spread. 5 of Wands in reverse, King of Pentacles upright, the Fool upright, the Hermit upright. Oh, isn't this pretty? It looks like Lord of the Rings for Gandalf. We have the King of Pentacles in reverse. Oh my gosh, stand up straight. We have the 6 of Pentacles upright. And your last card is Queen. Okay, wow, this is a really tough spread to read. What the hell is going on here? Oh, okay, Okay, so this does not happen. This happens so rarely for me, very rarely. But once in a super blue moon, a supermoon, you could even say. I'm just kidding. So tarot comes out in the way of the information you need. And in rare cases, the relationship is so weird and so messed up and so dysfunctional. This is not to be insulting, as intense of those words as I'm expressing, that it's coming out in a very distorted, weird way. That doesn't mean, I'm not trying to criticize you or your relationship at all. I'm just saying that I'm getting chunks. I'm getting chunks of information. It's as if Tarot's trying to be like, you need to know this, but also this. I don't have a reason why, but here you go, here you go. You know what I mean? So we've got a very, you know, strong thing going on. I might have to pull a few cards, but let's get into it. Okay, so let's start off with the 6 of Pentacles over here, our girl. So this talks about second chances. And this could be a relationship that you've already given a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance. You could be the type of couple that has either straight up breakups and get-togethers, or maybe there's a lot of like, I'm going to go stay with my mother or father type of situation, or maybe it's just really intense where you're not talking to each other for a little bit. There's some form of ending and getting back together sort of thing. And the unfortunate thing is you're doing it in the King of Pentacles in reverse when you haven't regrouped properly. The Hermit advises you that you guys are a little bit too melded as a couple, which is why I'm thinking this spread is coming through so distortedly. And because you're so in each other's lives and everything like that, it's advising you to not break up, not at all, but more take some time to individually pull yourselves back together, like figure out who is, Brad, who is Janet. Does Does that Rocky Horror Picture Show make sense? But who they are as people, so that when you come together, you can better express yourself, better figure out what you guys want, or what needs to be sorted out. Because there isn't like hate or malevolence in this relationship. Like I said, the words I described beforehand were very harsh sounding, but they were just impromptu chosen adjectives. They were not... There's a lot of like wanting to be together, but not sure ultimately how to deal with any of these problems. And as I was saying before in the King of Pentacles in reverse, this is coming whenever you guys get back together or give the relationship that stronger bit of go, or there's that revival together. You don't have the right resources emotionally, mentally. You just don't have enough to give to care for the other person. It's just not in the cards right now. You kind of need to regroup and figure yourself out. And so every time you get back together, it just kind of unfortunately leads to this part of the spread. So, the Emperor card. The Emperor card is about not wanting to take responsibility for the hard decisions. Both of you are doing it, I can tell. It's weird. It's interesting. I'll kind of combine these two because Judgment card talks about this as well. They're definitely, this is one of the more connected parts of the spread. It's like there's, you know when there's 3 people working on a project and 2 people are like, I don't want to work on the project, you deal with the project, the third person, deals with it. Well, you 2 guys are the 2 people saying, I don't want to be a part of the project. The relationship is the project, and there's no third person. So you guys are both kind of weirdly ditching the relationship. And this is hard to express, but you're ditching the relationship and not giving it the required attention it needs to iron out any problems or communication problem situations going on. But it's not like you don't want to be together. It's just there's a lackluster attitude when it comes to doing it. So in the Emperor, it says nobody really wants to step up to the plate and deal with the problems. And the Judgment card says there's a carelessness to it. It's like, let's say you have a fight, you're going out to have dinner, and you didn't like how your partner responded to you, or maybe there was a disagreement about how you wanted to tip the person, the waitress or something. And maybe that frustrates you. And you just kind of like, whatever, forget it, I'm letting it go. I'm moving on. But you didn't really let go. And that is a problem that needs to be discussed. And it kind of is for both of you in many aspects of your life. Like I said, you're still interested in being together. There's no hate or love lost. But this lackluster approach to the relationship is causing a lot of problems. I also see here there's like an opposing, well, I don't want to say opposing. One of the problems of why the relationship is being dealt this way is you guys have totally different ways of a belief system going on here. Spirit speaking up that this is something to do with your previous experience. This could be a childhood, how your parents treated things, or what you saw other people. It's like you both come from different backgrounds where the people handled problems in the relationship in a different way. And both of you don't know how to translate that with each other because they're different. Doesn't mean they're opposing, like I said, wrong choice of words. But it's just kind of messing everything else up, if that makes sense. In the Five of Wands, see, this is pulling away from something bad. Like I said, I can see some fighting, but I gotta be honest with you, this relates more to the Strength card. And like I said, I'm just getting weird chunks all over the place. So, the Strength card in reverse directly refers to bedroom problems. This can, in many cases, be like maybe you guys are having a little too much bedroom activities, and it's a way of not solving the communicative and emotional problems. And that's another thing I wanted to mention. I'm not seeing like any cup situation going on here, especially with the Fool, saying that you guys have different belief systems, and that you're just not familiar with each other's belief systems. That's the best way I want to put it. And there's a lack of knowing how to handle an emotional situation. That's how I can put it with the Five of Wands as well. And so this can refer to too much bedroom activities as a way of not dealing with the real problems. But when I see the Five of Wands here being here, it can also refer to maybe there's a lack of confidence in the bedroom. Maybe there's still, like, there's the idea of an ex being brought up, maybe of how, you know, the bedroom activities with them was different, and that's a sore subject. Somehow this is a real big issue with you guys. And again, it's just, it's kind of like an underlying problem I'm seeing here. Now the interesting thing is we have some cards, and this is why I want to pull some more cards, because I gave you a lot of, I wouldn't say the most positive things a part of this relationship, but there's a lot of like wanting to be together in this relationship. The King of Wands here is being ignored by all the other cards. This is the advice you're being given, and it's being ignored. It also kind of in a way gets repeated with the Queen card here. It talks about the idea of this situation could easily be solved if you took on the role of the King of Wands. The King of Wands is somebody who's just great at expressing themselves. They can see, you know, the problem as a whole. They can turn a negative into a positive. So it's a great branching point off of all this like kind of chaos and things that need to be fixed. It's a very fun, loving person, but who can finish a project as a whole. So this is like a very take charge as opposing to the whole Emperor concept. This is somebody who does have something to give compared to the King of Pentacles in reverse. And this also gets repeated in the Queen. Now, this is the anti-mother. So this is not asking you to go be a mother to the person you're with, but take a leadership role, a confidence in who you are, your femininity. Again, this talks about the bedroom activities here. Be finding confidence in that. Even if you don't know exactly what to do, like figure it out. Like go in with a kind of fake it until you make it attitude and take charge, because honestly, if you just face these problems head on, all of this can be, you know, tripped over. In the Metamorphosis card, and this is why I want to pull some more cards, this can talk about something dying or being gotten rid of, because it talks about when you change and you turn into that beautiful butterfly, that better version of yourself, something else needs to die. This can refer to unhealthy habits, like we discussed before, but it can also refer to a relationship, which is why I want to pull some more cards, because I'm not sure if your problems are going to be solved through taking on this, and then it will be a long-term relationship, or, you know, it's just a habit thing, or if it's saying, yes, this relationship has run its course, you're not good for each other, da-da-da-da. So let me pull some more cards. Oh my God, King of Wands. If that's not the ultimate, like, tarot's going, wake up, take charge of your relationship. By the way, this can be done for both of you role-wise. Like, both of you can go in and discuss the greater problem at hand. Both of you can go in and make a joke and be like, you know what, it's funny if we mess up in the bedroom, we'll figure it out together, or let's let the bygones be bygones and let's have fun. And because the carelessness is very much coming from a very fun attitude simultaneously. Like the capabilities of both of you are social people in that way. Like you go out to dinners and stuff like that. On the next card, there we go. That's all I needed. Okay, so yes, this is going to be a long term. This is really positive. This is really good. This is a card of longevity. Really bright positivity. This is a new beginning. You both are going to finally kind of have what you need to offer. You do need to approach the situation together. It's a together type of activity. You need to kind of finally handle it. You need to discuss, like, this is how I used to handle things. How did you used to handle things? You're both willing to hear each other, but you need to both understand all of the things at hand. Kind of just both giggle and make bad situations into fun situations. Definitely tackle this. And that part of yourself, these unhealthy ways of approaching things, will die off. You're going to have a nice, beautiful, bright tomorrow. And yes, this will be long term. This is such a goofy spread. This is like, probably, I have not experienced a spread like this. Like, I cannot even remember the last time this was a crazy one. So I hope you enjoyed this, as hearing about the spread as much as I enjoyed reading it for you. Please consider giving it a like and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. But either way, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!